First, click the Get Started button. This will open up the login page. Enter your personal ID code and password. Once in, you open the Welcome page. There are 4 icons at the end of the page. These are Planet Navigation. The teacher and parent version of the app has open access to all the content and can move around it freely. The student license is closed, meaning that they must complete a module to move to the next item. Students can replay anything already completed, but they cannot jump forward. Next, you have the library. This contains quick access to the learning materials. They only open up on the student app once they have been covered in the programme. Next, you have the rewards. Here, students can track the rewards they have received. For example, Jigsaw and achievements, including trophies and Star Galaxy build. Finally, you have the Settings button. This contains control functions, for example, spelling verification on or off. When you click on the Planet Navigation icon, you enter the galaxy. You can scroll up or down to find the planet you want, then click on it. The final part of the journey is the ZOIM asteroid field. Once you click on it, it leads you through the various modules. The icons in each planet are linear and guide the student through the learning journey. The I is the information icon for learning concepts that are taught prior to doing an exercise. The plus sign with 2 dots icon represents a game. The box icon represents an AR tutorial. And finally, the checklist icon is for the quiz. This is the full array of icons that you will encounter throughout the app. If you want to stop any information session or exercise midway, just click on the navigation button and you will have a choice to quit the module. Click X for no or tick for yes. When you click on the library button, the following options will appear. Initially, there are the vowel and consonant charts, and where they have been completed on Planet SMOOK, they will always be accessible by clicking either the V or C button at the top of the screen or the Charts button in the library. For the consonant chart, you can either scroll down through the sounds or click a number at the top bar to access the first, second, third or fourth section of the charts. When you click on a circled letter, the sound is played and you are shown what happens with the articulators to make each sound. The vowel chart is divided into 4 groups depending on the shape of your lips when you say a sound. The groups are spread, round, resting and moving. You can scroll down the chart or click a lip shape for quick access to the group you require. If you want to see the vowel sounds in AR, click the AR button to activate the AR functionality. Or you can click on the video button to see a video of the sound and animation. There are 12 multiple choice question quizzes spread throughout the app. Each one tests that the concepts that have been taught are being absorbed. It is normal to get approximately 70% correct on first attempt. A report is presented at the end of the 10 questions. If there are errors, you are either guided to a module to get the answer or you are given the answer depending on the type of question asked. The student must retake the quiz and get 100% correct before they can get their passport stamped and move on to the next planet. This is where the 20 rules for Planet ZORTH and the 18 rules for Planet BOOP are stored. The rule boxes will only be accessible when the material has been taught and the exercises for the rule completed. To exit the rules section, just click on the red circle with the X at the top right of the screen. This is where the spelling flashcard strategy and process is stored, after it's been taught in the relevant planet and module. This section also contains Tips Tops, Top Tips for quick reference. It also contains 5 short stories. This content can only be accessed when it has been completed on the planet. This is where all the flashcards will be stored, which include the easy prefixes and suffixes, the 2-syllable suffixes, and the complex suffixes. When you click on a prefix or suffix box, it opens to show a flashcard. The more challenging of the easy prefixes and suffixes will have an AR representation, and all of the 2-syllable and complex suffixes have augmented reality. So let's explore the 6 planets in the asteroid field. The first is planet SMOOK, which started a pre-reading, pre-spelling stage of literacy development, linking speech sounds or phonemes with their appropriate graphemes or letter representations. It's here that the vowel and consonant sounds are taught in detail, and there are short games to reinforce the concepts being taught. The first experience of AR occurs at the beginning of the vowel section, and there is an AR tutorial to teach the student how to access AR. It requires the same process throughout the app. When all modules and exercises have been completed, the student must do the multiple choice quiz and has to achieve 100% to get their passport stamped, and they can then move on to the next planet. Next is Planet Manga, which has gamification. This level is particularly important for spelling, using pseudo words or nonsense words. For spelling the target single syllable word, it uses blue and green counters instead of letters to represent the consonant sounds, which are the blue counters, and the vowel sounds, which are the green counters. Students are taught how to discern each of the individual speech sounds and the number and order of speech sounds in a given word. It is important to remember that letter names are not used unless using the 5 silent E vowels, which are A, E, I, O, and U. This task focuses on auditory memory, discrimination, and sequencing, the 3 essential skills for learning competent literacy skills. Throughout each game, students are provided with scaffolding support that enforces corrective actions. For example, the counters are returned to their original location if used incorrectly, thus enabling the student to identify their error and achieve 100% success in the subsequent attempts. The replay button is also available on every module throughout the app. The student has access to the consonant and vowel charts situated at the top of the screen for reference throughout. Next is Planet NIM, where the student is required to read and then spell single-syllable pseudo words of increasing complexity. For the reading task, students have access to child-friendly voice recognition software so that their reading of the word is recorded and scored. If a second attempt of the word is incorrect, the student can then play the target word to hear the correct reading of the word shown before moving on. This feature is available for all subsequent reading tasks in the more advanced levels. The spelling task does not act as a QWERTY keyboard. Instead, the student will spell by clicking on consonant or vowel speech sound chunks contained in the table below on the screen. They spell speech sound by speech sound rather than letter by letter. At this level, they have a restricted number of speech sound options to choose from. However, in more advanced levels, all the speech sound combinations in English are displayed. Next is Planet ZORTH. This level introduces 20 major rules for reading and spelling. Each rule has a formal explanation, and most have both interactive reading and spelling exercises. Only real words are used from here on in. The process for the reading tasks is the same as before. However, the spelling section is now more complex because all the speech sound combinations in English are displayed to choose from. They are organised in the same order and groupings that were taught for the charts. A word is called out. The student spells it. If it's incorrect, they're allowed a second attempt. If incorrect again, the correct spelling of the word is given and the next word to spell is then presented. There is a quiz after teaching Rule 4, Rule 8 and Rule 20. And again, 100% accuracy is mandatory to proceed. On completion of the third quiz on the fourth planet, the galactic passport is stamped and the student can proceed to the next planet. Next is Planet PLARSH, where real single-syllable words for reading and spelling are introduced. From a reading perspective, the words are divided into 3 groups. Firstly, words with direct sound symbol association, for example, hat. Then words that incorporate the first 8 rules taught, for example, cake. And finally, the more complex and irregular words that incorporate the remaining 12 rules, for example, ache. We also include words that have no apparent logic to them, for example, the word key as in where you dock boats. The first of the 5 bespoke stories is also introduced at this level. The vocabulary chosen for these stories is compatible with the level of literacy taught to this point in the app. On this planet, the single-syllable words for spelling are divided into class levels and incorporate a vocabulary consistent with the school curriculum. Students are taught a visualization technique for learning to spell complex and irregular words to imprint these words in long-term visual memory. This flashcard technique is then stored under miscellaneous in the library. The next is Planet Boop, and here 9 syllable division rules are introduced for both reading and spelling. Each rule has an instruction module, and rules 5 to 9 have AR features. On completion, they can then be accessed for revision at any stage in the library. Finally, the student reaches the ZOIM asteroid field, which teaches prefixes and suffixes, which are grouped as easy, 2-syllable, and complex, many with Greek, Latin, and French origins. Students are taught to understand the rules relating to their origins and to recognize these prefix and suffix chunks as units. By using specific flashcards and augmented reality models, these eventually become embedded into their sight vocabulary and visual memory. At intervals throughout the asteroid field, 3 more stories are introduced, each becoming more complex and integrating the prefixes and suffixes taught. To enhance vocabulary knowledge, there is also a word definition facility for the more complex words. Once the final quiz is successfully completed, the student can exit the galaxy and travel home. The ARETE Pilot 1 project focuses on the Wordsworth Learning AR app, which is a full literacy program. Throughout the app, there are over 150 AR objects with the function to either support a speech sound, explain a complex rule, or as a prefix or suffix flashcard, which help explain their complexity and enhance memory. This app combines augmented reality with the science of reading principles, which are phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, vocabulary, and fluency. The app is developed around a space odyssey, where the main protagonist is a robot called Tip-Top, and he will guide the student through 6 planets and an asteroid field. Each planet has a different focus, so let's have a look at what's ahead. Planet SMOOK teaches the student how to say and recognise all the consonant and vowel speech sounds in the English language. E in seal. E in seal. Once learned, the student does a quiz and then gets a stamp on their passport, which lets them move on to Planet Manga.
Congratulations! You've earned a new stamp for your passport.
Planet Manga has counter games to teach the student how to recognise the sound, number, and order of speech sounds in a nonsense word. This is an essential skill for spelling.
This time we're adding or removing or swapping counters. I'm going to use a counter to show me the speech sounds in each word.
Ga. Ga. Og. Og. Ag. Ag. Ah. Ta. On Planet Nim, the student learns to read and spell nonsense words, learning great word attack skills.
Loy.
Loy.
Low.
Then they reach planet ZORTH, which is a big planet. Here the student learns 20 essential rules, and it has lots of AR hooks to aid memory.
Did you know the letter C has no sound of its own? It actually takes the sound from K, like in the word car, or S, like in the word city. This can happen anywhere in the word, not just at the beginning.
C followed by the letters I, E, or Y always sounds like S. Otherwise, it is a K sound. Then they move on to planet PLARSH. Here students get a chance to practice the reading and spelling skills they have learned so far, and also to learn how to make cool flashcards which make spelling of weird words much easier.
We'll make a flashcard for the word ache.
Then they move on to planet Boop. Here students learn 9 syllable division rules for both reading and spelling. There's a big jump in ability once they have mastered the skills taught on the planet. and the AR rule objects really help to support learning and memory. Finally, they reach the ZOIM asteroid field. Here students learn all about the prefixes and suffixes in English and have a load of AR objects to help them remember the tricky ones from French, Greek and Latin. Chasse, chasse. So once the students have done all the exercises and quizzes and read all the stories, their passport will be full and they can go home, but with great reading and spelling skills and a whole load of AR tools to help their ongoing learning. For more information, look up the website.